Like this?
Oui. Je parlais avec mon ami. Parlais Chelsea. Yes, guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson Football Channel for a Chelsea news video, hopefully hitting your sub box around the time that you would be manger your breakfast and drinking a glass of orange juice. I don't know why. I'm living with my French friend at the moment, and I thought just, you know, a little bit of parler le français would be a nice way to start the video. But to be honest, it makes absolutely no sense, and it's one of those in-jokes that you guys don't understand. But today, we have the notebook back in the classic garden position, and we're here to talk about a few little stories. Nothing crazy today. This is more like a little bit deeper into the Chelsea news. Obviously, we've got Aston Villa at the weekend. There are some talks about Lukaku having a scan for a minor injury that means he could miss the game. We're going to talk about that a little later on. But first things first, make sure you're subscribed to GBFC if you haven't already done so. And if you can hit the like button on today's video, then that will make me a very happy man. Now, first things first, we're here to talk about Tino Livramento, a man who we sold to Southampton, and since he signed for Southampton, he started every single Premier League game. Chelsea fans and football fans are like, what have Chelsea done letting this man go for £5 million? Now, the thing is, Chelsea wanted to keep Tino Livramento. Tino Livramento, despite being a young man, is very aware of the qualities that he possesses and wanted to be playing regular football. Now, the irony of all of this is 3 games into the season, Chelsea already have themselves a red card, which means Azpilicueta will have to fit back in to the right centre-back role, and therefore Reece James at right wing-back means, ow, there's a flipping wasp or something that's stung my ankles. Tino Livramento could have had a chance to play in match week number 4 of Chelsea's season. However, I fully understand and really appreciate Tino Livramento giving up what he's had at Chelsea for so long in order to pursue first-team football. And the great thing about this whole thing is Chelsea have a buyback clause, and Tino is looking like the real deal. He's probably been Southampton's best player so far this season, and maybe in the future we will see him back to Chelsea. We move into speaking about another centre-back who has not played a competitive match yet for Chelsea, but he is training in the first team. I'm talking about Xavier Mbuyamba. He's Dutch. He's one of these guys who, if you follow him on social media, which I do, you start to really love this guy. He looks like a super cool young man, and he wears Chelsea shirts out on the street for photo shoots in public, which I don't know about you, but whenever you see somebody who's not yet played for the club, loving the club the way that he is, also the same as Saul Niguez. So far, it looks like Saul absolutely loves Chelsea. Mbuyamba is in the same boat as that. He talks about Chelsea and playing for Chelsea all of the time, and he's training with the first team. Now, considering we missed out on Jules Koundé, there is definitely a spot left in the squad this season for Chelsea with a centre-back. Whether that is going to be Malang Sarr or Xavier Mbuyamba, it is still yet to be seen. I think at this point in time, Malang Sarr is slightly higher up the order of picking for Thomas Tuchel. The fact that Mbuyamba is training, though, with the first team, I think it will allow Thomas Tuchel to see the physical presence that this guy has. He's a very big guy. He looks a little bit like Virgil van Dijk. That is the comparison that's been made. We signed him from Barcelona 2 years ago, and maybe we could see him break into the team soon. We've got Carabao Cup action against Aston Villa. That could be the game where he starts for Chelsea. We move into a bit of good news, I guess you could say, which is always nice, and I want to give a little bit of praise here on GBFC for the captain of Chelsea Football Club, Cesar Azpilicueta. Not just the captain of Chelsea, he is now captaining Spain. I think this is excellent. I think Azpi during his career has always been one of the underrated players. When you talk about the great Premier League defenders, his name probably doesn't get mentioned as often as it should. And I think the fact now that he's captaining both club and country, and it doesn't look as though he's going to lose his place in the Chelsea team anytime soon, because he is performing still at such a high level, I thought it just deserved a little bit of airtime here for a little bit of praise. We move into another centre-back who has come out, in quotes, to Danish newspapers and saying that he is working on the contract with Chelsea. Andreas Christensen wants to stay at Chelsea Football Club, and it looks as though Chelsea are working on the deal. Christensen is ready to sign it. It's just about dotting the I's, crossing the T's, making sure that everything that the player wants, that the club want from the player, is all in alignment, and then Andreas Christensen should sign his new Chelsea contract soon. If you remember a couple of weeks ago, I spoke here in a video talking about how Chelsea's centre-back situation could become a bit of a mess. Aspi doesn't sign a new deal or he leaves. Christensen doesn't sign a new deal or leaves. Rudiger doesn't sign a new deal or leaves. And Zuma has already left. So locking down Andreas Christensen with the form that he's shown ever since Thomas Tuchel rejoined the club, or joined the club, should I say, never rejoined. He's just come in and absolutely blown the pace to smithereens in a great way. Christensen looks set to sign, which I'm absolutely delighted about. But one player who, once again, not the player, I just want to state this and make this very clear. Jorginho isn't the one going in public and saying that, yeah, you know what, I got a contract to 2023 and I dream of a move to Italy. It's his bloody agent again. I don't understand this. Why, when we know that Jorginho has come under scrutiny for the behaviour of his agent with flirting with moves to other clubs? Why does he keep doing it? It's one of those things where, for Jorginho, it's been a long battle to really gain the deep affiliation from Chelsea fans. There are a lot of Chelsea fans, particularly under Maurizio Sarri, who didn't understand Jorginho or didn't like Jorginho in the team. And I will be the first to admit I was one of those people. I didn't get it. Now I do. Now I see the value that Jorginho brings to this side. He's grown into this team. He's become a key, important component. Yet his agent is still flirting with moves away. For me, this is just very frustrating. He's a Chelsea player, as his agent says, until 2023. He's not the youngest, so maybe Jorginho does end up leaving. But when he's starting all the time for Chelsea, when his agent knows that he's currently a key player in Tuchel's plans, in the starting 11, in the squad, I really don't see why there is an onus on pushing for this flirtatious idea of Jorginho going back to Italy. They said that if he wins the World Cup, then maybe he'd like to go back. Well, the World Cup is next December. So, yeah, that to me suggests that Jorginho won't be signing a new Chelsea deal and will probably be leaving in 2 seasons' time. Let me know your thoughts on that one in the comments below. But at this moment in time, I absolutely love Jorginho. However, if it is a 2-year possible exit, then we all know who that could be who comes in to... Blimey, very rarely happens, but we just choked on my words. We all know what it means as the replacement to come in. And of course, I'm talking about Declan Rice Pudding. That would be delightful. We move into the next story of the day, which again is another beautiful one, talking about Chelsea's owner, Roman Abramovich. Roman Abramovich has been not necessarily quoted, but there's been rumours going around of certain words and phrases and sentences that have been used from Chelsea's Russian billionaire owner, talking about how he has a vision and a dream for Chelsea to be fielding 6 to 7 academy players in a team that wins trophies year on year. There is this talk in kind of open-ended terms about a vision for 2030, and for me, this is absolutely wonderful to see. Roman Abramovich, we know that he has invested massively in this Chelsea team over the years since he took over in 2003, and the fact that it doesn't look as though the interest from Abramovich and Chelsea Football Club is waning anytime soon, which over the years there's been a question mark, you know, when he wasn't allowed back into England. People thought maybe it's time for Roman to sell up. No chance of that happening. I think the plan that he's had with developing the academy the way that he did, the money that he invested in the academy, similar to that of the first team squad, I think all of the vision that Roman Abramovich had has well and truly come into fruition. Ever since that transfer ban where we were forced to bring through Reece Jameses, Tammy Abrahams, Mason Mounts, I think what Roman Abramovich envisaged Chelsea being, it's become. And I think if there are talks about his vision for 2030 with 6 academy players in the team and winning trophies year on year, I think we can get excited. And I think it also extends the lifespan of GBFC. So I'm absolutely delighted about that one. The final story of this Chelsea news video is Romelu Lukaku. There's a bit of a worry. He's had a little scan on a potential minor injury, which means that maybe we don't see him play against Aston Villa. It's one of those typical things where in the first couple of games of the season, or Lukaku's first 2 games, it's been very exciting. Performance at Liverpool was kind of like, yeah, Chelsea had to defend most of that game, but particularly at Arsenal, it was everything we could have dreamed of from Romelu Lukaku's second debut. If he is injured, it is not the end of the world because Timo Werner's been bagging in the goals for Germany, getting assists as well on international duty, but I would love to see these two play together. And either later on today or tomorrow, there's going to be another video here on GBFC where I argue and debate whether Lukaku and Werner, if Lukaku is fit, should start together against Aston Villa at the weekend. And I really want to entertain this idea because when Timo's in, okay, I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it for later. So make sure you're subscribed to GBFC, turn on those notifications so that you do not miss the second video. And then I've also got a couple of other like legacy videos, I guess you could say, for YouTube to come out over the next couple of days for the global Chelsea audience to feast their eyes on and enjoy. But yeah, going to wrap this one up here. It's been some kind of deeper news about some players that we wouldn't often talk about in the big news stories. But yeah, good news for Chelsea is football is back at the weekend. Thank you guys so much for watching. Catch you all later. Come on, you Blues.